Hey everybody, today we're going to wind down the week with some polling. We've got 6 states to take a look at in New England, plus a little bit about Trump and the economy. But first we're going to take another look at some polling here for New York City Mayor. Now this primary is coming up in June, so it's not that far off anymore. At first we've got this one here from Emerson. It's going to be the same for all of these polls, but former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, is in the lead. If we get down here into the data, we can see that Cuomo is in the lead. He's gone up 5 points since last month. He's at 38%. Now, in this election, there is going to be ranked choice voting, so you have to get to over 50% in order to be the nominee. So Cuomo is at 38% in the first round, so that's not going to quite get there. But there is an incumbent mayor that is technically running for re-election. That's Eric Adams. But this month, he's only getting 8% of the vote. That's down from 10. He's tied with Zoran Mamdani. He's at 10% and he's associated with the Democratic Socialists of America. So he's going to be a much more progressive candidate, but either way, Cuomo by far leads everybody, although undecided is still at 17%. That's down from 25. And the sample size here is going to be 653. So Cuomo was embattled as governor. He actually resigned. So he does have a lot of baggage, but he's a Democrat in a blue state in a very blue city. So as of now, it looks like he's going to be the next mayor. Even though this is only for the primary, it doesn't really look like things are shifting enough for the Republicans to be competitive at all in November. There's a lot of data here. I'm going to keep moving. We've got another poll for this same election. This is going to be for Data for Progress. And they tout how in 2021, the last mayor's election here, they were the most accurate pollster. And their sample size here is going to be 854 likely Democratic primary voters. So let's go down here. It's similar to Emerson. We've got Cuomo here at 39%. Zoran Mamdani is in second at 15. Eric Adams is in fourth in this one at 7%. Not Sure is coming in at 17. So again, it looks like Cuomo is the clear favorite. But if we play it out with ranked choice voting, and in the first round, Cuomo gets 47% of the vote. Mamdani is at 17. Eric Adams again is in fourth place. Now because Cuomo did not get to 50%, then the candidate with the lowest amount is eliminated. That's going to be Michael Blake. Assuming Blake voters had somebody listed as their second choice, then those votes are going to be reallocated back into the other candidates. So when that happens in the second round, not much changes because that's only about 1%. So Cuomo is still at 47. Even in the third round, after eliminating another candidate, Cuomo still at 47. Fourth round, it's the same thing. The fifth round, Cuomo slowly inches up to 50%, but he's not there. It takes until 7 rounds for Cuomo to get over 50. He's at 52. Mamdani is at 21. Incumbent Mayor Eric Adams is eliminated after the 7th round, but they play it all the way out until there's just 2. There in the 9th round, Cuomo is at 70. Mamdani is at 30. So right now, Cuomo should have a target on his back. His name ID is sky high, but also so is his baggage. Either way, Eric Adams has his own set of baggage. It looks like there's no chance he's going to be reelected to a second term. Now we've got one more poll here from the same election. This is going to be from Honan Strategy Group. And here we're looking at 909 New York City Democratic primary voters. Let's go down here and see what they've got. Here they've got some changes compared to the previous poll last month. But down here they have the ranked choice voting. And this is similar to Data for Progress. In the first round, Cuomo is at 48%. Eventually, in the 5th round, he hits 51%, and he would be the nominee for the Dems. But if they play it all the way out, in the 8th round, Cuomo defeats Mamdani 66-34. Then Cuomo would have to go on to face a Republican in the November election, where he would be heavily favored. So things could always change. In the last election in 21, it looked like Andrew Yang was the frontrunner, but as we got even closer, he fizzled out. So the more moderate establishment candidate, former Governor Cuomo, looks like he's in line to be the next mayor of New York City. Now let's go on to some polling from the University of New Hampshire. They took a look at the 6 states in New England. Now we can't go over all the data, but we're going to start here in New Hampshire. This would be considered the most purple or even the reddest state of the 6. And we've got Trump's approval rating here. He's at 48%. His disapproval is at 52. Now they also have his approval from his first term on here. And compared to his first term, the current numbers look at least close to, if not slightly better than most of what we're seeing from 4 to 5 years ago. But he is still underwater. His strongly disapprove is at 49%. That's up 1 point from last month, but it is down 3 from December of 2020. Now there's a lot of data here. I can't go over all this. I'm going to scroll through it. You could always pause it if you'd like. It covers different issues, the economy, foreign affairs, etc. As always, all these links will be down below in the description. But to make this simple, I want to go all the way down here and compare New Hampshire to the other states in New England. So for that, we've got to go all the way down here and we're going to get a nice comparison on the other states. So here we've got all 6 states, and this is Trump's approval rating. And we just took a look at New Hampshire right here. 48 approve, 52 disapprove. That's going to be Trump's best result out of the 6. Now in nearby Connecticut, Trump's approval is lower. It's at 39. 59 disapprove. That's 20 points underwater. In Maine, his approval is 42, 56 disapprove. In Massachusetts, that's a pretty blue state, his approval is 33, 66 disapprove. Rhode Island, a little bit better, 40 approve, 59 disapprove. And in Vermont, that's his worst state. His approval is 30%, disapproval 66. Now that mostly lines up with the level of support Trump got in all these states. New Hampshire's going to be his best, followed by Maine, and then down from there. But if you do take the time to look more into these numbers, just like we saw in New Hampshire, Trump's approval rating is not really anything worse than it was during his first term. And he's only been in there for a couple of months. There hasn't been that much positive media coverage of him. So I have to give it some more time. We'll see if these numbers stabilize, if they go up a little bit, or if they're going to slide back down lower than they were during his first term. Now this next section here has Trump's approval rating on handling foreign affairs. In all 6 states, it's not really too far away from his overall approval rating. They've also got how he's doing on the Ukraine conflict. But the key issue pretty much for any president is going to be the economy. These numbers are right here, and again, they're not too dissimilar from his overall rating. For Trump to not get wiped out in the midterms, the perception here is going to have to get a little bit better. I still think it's pretty early. I think we should wait probably at least until the end of the year. The economy was a big reason as to why Harris lost. Cost of living, inflation, those were killing everybody. Over and over their defense was, these numbers are actually pretty good if you just looked more into it. I don't think the voters were buying that. But the problem for that administration was that went on for multiple years. If the same thing happens for Trump, I think he's going to be doomed. But 2 or 3 months is a lot different than 2 or 3 years. But if you're looking for a big cultural or social issue aside from the economy, right underneath we've got, should transgender female athletes be able to participate in women's sports? In every state, at least 57% say they definitely or probably should not. Connecticut is actually the highest at 73%. Vermont is the lowest at 57%. With the states that say definitely or probably should participate, Vermont is going to be the highest at 35%, and Connecticut is the lowest at 20%. That's an issue that does tend to pretty easily favor the Republicans. If Democrats took the Republicans' position on this issue, politically it only looks like it could be a pretty big net gain. Anyway, there's a ton more here, but I'm going to keep going. We've got a CBS News poll on the economy, and this shows the expected state of the economy next year to be booming or growing is at 29%. That's down from 34% last month. And the trade-off here is in recession, goes from 23 to 28% this month. So those numbers are getting a little bit more pessimistic. Let's go down here. What do you think about the economy? What do you think about? 91% say prices of food and services, 70% say gas prices, 57% housing market, and 56% interest rates. This is where it's all at right here for pretty much any president. Enough of these metrics have to be viewed positively or at least getting better if Trump is going to have any success. If he doesn't, he's likely to pay a price for it. And then down here we've got your own financial situation. Not a surprise here, if you're making over 100K, you're saying it's pretty good. That's what 80% think, only 17% say it's bad. If you're between 50 and 100 grand, 61% say good, 35% say bad. If you're under 50,000, 39% say good, 57% say bad. Not too shocking there on those numbers. Now here's what people say about their own financial situation. 54% say good, 40% say bad. A little bit better than it was last month and about the same as it was in January. About the condition of the U.S. economy, it's exactly the same now as it was last month. 33% say good, 60% say bad. And my guess is Republicans think it's pretty good right now. Democrats think it's terrible. Kind of the exact inverse of what we saw a few months ago when Biden was still in office. So a lot of it just depends on if your team is in the White House or not. How about, is your income keeping up with inflation? 24% say yes it is. 76% say not really. That's going to be another problem for the current administration. This 24% has got to come up at least 10 or 15 points. And then finally about retirement, we've got 70% say they're anxious, only 30% say they're secure. So nothing great there about the economic numbers. However, that's pretty much what we've seen for the past few years. Inflation really spiked post-COVID and a little bit after Biden got into office. We heard it was going to be transitory, nothing to worry about, but that did not pan out whatsoever. It lingered, it hurt the Democrats when they were in power, and if it doesn't change, it's also going to hurt the Republicans. Republicans. Finally, we've got one slide here from Fox News. They've got Trump's overall approval rating at 49%, 51 disapprove. That's 2 points underwater. Now, if you compare that to congressional Democrats, they're only at a 30% approval, 66 disapprove. Congressional Republicans are at 43 approve, 55 disapprove. So it really all depends on how you want to look at it. I've heard Trump is still close to as popular as he's ever been. I've also heard that his popularity has plummeted. It's tough to say, but based on this, he's doing better than everybody else. The GOP doesn't look strong here with a 43% approval rating, but if you compare that to the Democrats, it's significantly better. I've seen polls that have Trump doing worse. I've seen some that have him doing better. Who knows what's really going on, but he's still really only been in there for just over a couple of months. We'll see what happens, but that's a look at some current polling from the past week, so let me know in the comments. What do you think about any of this data? How about Mayor of New York City? Is it definitely going to be Andrew Cuomo? What about what's going on in New England with Trump on the economy and trans athletes? And how about the overall economic outlook? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.